The St. John's Bible is a multi-year project in its original form. It started in 1998. The first words were penned in March of 2000. And over the course of more than a decade, the original pages were all hand-done, handwritten, hand-lettered, hand-illuminated, just like you would have seen more than 500 years ago in a monastery someplace in Europe. The Bible itself is unique in that it's in English. Most of the Bibles that would have been done centuries ago would have not been, none of them were done in English. This one's done in English, so it's approachable. The struggle that we had when we came to it with the Heritage Edition is that when you have something that's done by hand with that kind of care, you have to be really, really careful when you're taking those images and capturing them. So an individual captured each of these pages. Each of these pages are captured digitally, originally using a scanning camera, and then with the last 3 volumes using a camera that instant captures. So you push the shutter button and it instantly captured it. Huge difference in those 2 types of capturing technologies. The one, because it took so long, sometimes the images would be out of focus. The thing about calfskin is that over time, under the lights, it dehumidifies and then it shrinks. It tries to get back on the cow. And as a result, the images start to get blurry when you're using a scanning camera back over time. The instant capture really helped us with sharpness.
You had to be invested in this to the standpoint where you cared a lot, because some of the pages got very hard to work on and many, many hours. So something that you expected you'd be done in 2 hours, you might be on it 15 hours later because of the difficulty of the project, which is the issue is the translucence of the material. So beautiful work on one side of the page and on the other, and then as you looked at it, you saw it coming through. And that actually became probably the harder part of the project rather than the color.
What they did is they take those images that have been captured. The folks at ArchiSearch then look at each of those individual images, oftentimes with the original page right there with them, and color correct those images so that they look almost identical, as close as you can get given what you're seeing on a screen in comparison to the original that you see in the background. That's important because your eye sees an infinite spectrum of color. When you capture it with a camera, that spectrum gets smaller, and then when you try and print it, it gets even smaller. So if you don't do a good job of capturing that information and then color correcting it so that it looks true in its artistic intent to the original, when you print it in something like this, you don't get the dramatic colors that you get here.
You can't just get done with it for the day. The whole idea was we got through it and we did it as perfect as possible. We exhausted all of our talent, all of our equipment, all of our applications. We pushed them as hard as we could so we could get to representing this as accurately as we could to the original. And that's what we were entrusted with doing, was essentially taking something from an analog world and making it digital. And again, it had to be pure as possible. We pushed the equipment, we pushed the technology, we ran our own profiles because we couldn't buy them, because they were not meeting our expectations. We had to lay a sheet down, the Bonaterre, right next to the original, and it's quite nerve-wracking to watch them look, and they're walking around, and it's like, here we go, and then they go, perfect.